Hey y'all, welcome back to another video of reactions. Middle me where if you like, comment, subscribe, or support in any type of way, then you a beast. And today's video, we are doing a segment called Families Fight, Dramas Tight. Let's react this on tonight. So this is her side of the story.
So because my aunt is the one who is being called every time my grandparents are in the nursing home, now her and my mom and my other aunts and uncles are fighting. The siblings are fighting amongst each other. Let me give you the family tea and tell you why they're fighting. So y'all already know my grandparents, Big Mom and Big Daddy, are in the nursing home. They've been causing and stirring up drama because Big Daddy cannot keep his hands to himself and he cannot stop flirting and harassing the CNAs and the nurses in the nursing home. Big Mama is chasing the CNAs and the nurses around with a cane, telling them not to be in her husband's room after a certain time of night and don't stay in her husband's room too long. My uncle is also in the nursing home, but let's just focus on Big Mama and Big Daddy for right now, okay? We're going to call this Aunt Jean, all right? They had 7 children. They had 2 boys, 5 girls. The oldest is a boy, my uncle. Then you have Aunt Jean. Then you have 4 more girls. Then you have the baby, which is the last uncle. Okay, Aunt Jean is the one who stayed and took care of home, took care of Big Mama and Big Daddy. They grew up on the back roads of Mississippi, so all the other siblings left, went to bigger cities and states, all right? Aunt Jean is the one who stayed. She's the one paying for the nursing home bill, okay? Nursing homes ain't cheap. $10,000 per person roundabout. So she paying about $30,000 for my uncle to be there and Big Mama and Big Daddy.
She paying $30,000. Let's just get into it because I'm gonna just say I'm on Aunt Jean's side before we even get started. $30,000. Okay, well let's continue
To be there. Aunt Jean goes down to the nursing home because at this point, Big Mama and Big Daddy on the verge of getting kicked out because they're stirring up so much drama. Aunt Jean goes and talks to Big Mama and says, I'm not understanding why you're chasing women around the nursing home about your husband, talking about your husband, this, your marriage, this, your husband, that. You've never had a faithful husband to begin with. Now, the grandkids didn't know about this, but apparently the children did. My aunts and uncles. So my aunt is telling Big Mama, my grandmama, you've never had a good marriage, so I'm not understanding why you're risking being thrown out of this nursing home for shit that he been doing. He been disrespecting you. You acting like you just feel so disrespected. You been disrespected. If you want to do something, you should have did something about it years ago. That's when Big Mama is saying, you know what, you're right. You're right. I knew that I didn't have a man worth marrying the first week I married. I knew I didn't have a marriage worth having the first week I married him. But I stayed or whatever. Blase. All of this flirting that Big Daddy is doing, I am assuming that it is bringing out suppressed feelings that maybe Big Mama thought were gone. Because my grandparents are in their 80s now. So it's no telling when he stopped doing what he was doing, because you got to think about it. They in the back roads of Mississippi. They're not really around people. Now Big Daddy he feels like he's being tricked into going into the nursing home. That's a story for another. There's a lot going on. That's another story. He feels like his children tricked him and Big Mama into going into the nursing home. So he's already pissed about being there. So in his mind, I might as well make the best of the situation. I'm around all these young pretty tenderonis. You feel me? He's having his way. He don't give about his wife in the next room, Big Mama. So my Aunt Jean goes over to Big Daddy and she's saying, you are still on the same foolishness that you've been on this whole time. And now it's on the verge of getting you kicked out. We don't have anywhere else for you to go. You're going to have to get right. Big Daddy's not hearing nothing that she's saying, and Aunt Jean. So at this point, Aunt Jean is having stirred up suppressed feelings about all of the memories and the flashbacks of how badly Big Daddy treated Big Mama over the years. So now Aunt Jean is saying, you know, you've never treated my mama with respect. You've treated her like this, and that. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you keep it up, we're going to have you on, I don't know if it's called hospice or what it is. It's where older people who can't control themselves get sedated, basically. I don't know if it's hospice or not. Which is why he had to take a ride in the sheriff's car, because he still wouldn't get his act together. So the sheriff had to come and pick him up from the nursing home, take him to whatever facility that they had to go to get him tested to see if he could be put on hospice and sedated. The other siblings didn't like that. So you got half of the siblings divided. Half of the siblings are like, you're right. You know, he did treat mama crazy throughout the years, but we have to look at what's going on now. So Aunt Jean is like, what's going on now is it's about to get him put out. It's about to get him and Big Mama put out of the nursing home because he can't get himself together. We're going to have to figure out something because care of him. Crickets, silence. So now you got some other siblings who agree. Then you have other siblings who feel like Aunt Jean is talking to their daddy just reckless. You're making my daddy feel bad about himself. You're making him look bad. Girl, Big Daddy is making himself look bad up and down, not keeping his hands to himself, disrespecting his wife. Now, my mom is neutral. I'm not going to say my mom is neutral. My mom is more so on Aunt Jean's side because it is ridiculous. And this is where all of the stories start coming out. Aunt Jean says, I guess she's talking to Big Daddy, and Big Daddy's acting like he don't know what she's talking about, as all men do. Aunt Jean said, I remember when you cheated on Big Mama with Bernadine at the church house. He's acting like he don't remember who Bernadine is. Bernadine was the $10 that Big Mama found a sliver of paper in your pants pocket from church where Bernadine wrote a note and said, give me $10 or I'm going to tell your wife. That's who Bernadine is. You don't remember who Bernadine is? All of these other stories come. You could have did better. Anyway, all of this is going on.
$10.
Half of the children don't want him in hospice, so now they're trying to get Aunt Jean off of power of attorney so that they can go and figure. I don't know what they're going to do with him because ain't none of them finna come down to Mississippi and take care of him. It's just a mess. Who'd have thought all this be going on at the nursing home? Like, majority of the time, siblings and family members start fighting after someone has passed away. They still living. My aunt has now stopped talking to my granddaddy. She has let my granddaddy, Big Daddy, know that she is through with him. As y'all know, my Aunt Jean is paying for Big Mama and Big Daddy, my grandparents, to be in the nursing home along with her husband. So her husband is in the nursing home as well. Y'all know Big Daddy has been flirting with the CNAs and harassing the CNAs and nurses in the nursing home, and Big Mama has been threatening the same CNAs and the nurses about her man. Aunt Jean has had to go down there, have a heart-to-heart with Big Mama and Big Daddy. Once she started having a heart-to-heart with Big Daddy's acting like he does not know what she's talking about. Aunt Jean has stated, you know, you have been cheating on Big Mama since the beginning of time, and it's ridiculous. Now, Aunt Jean is now dealing with the memories and the childhood trauma of witnessing that, as well as other things that Big Daddy has done and other harsh ways that Big Daddy has treated Big Mama. Now, Big Daddy acting like he don't know what she's talking about. That's when all of the stories start coming out. My mom is the one who's relaying all of this to me. So after my mom starts talking about Aunt Jean bringing up when Big Daddy was cheating with Bernadine in the church house for $10, she was blackmailing Big Daddy for $10 about their affair. That's when my mama starts reminiscing about the times that Big Daddy was cheating on Big Mama. So my mama goes on to tell me, she said, I remember when her and my other aunt, because it's 7 of them, her and her other aunt was eavesdropping. Y'all know how kids do when the phone ring. And at the time, Big Mama had went into town. Now, you know they live in Mississippi, so whenever you go to the store, they say, I'm going into town. It's about 30, 40 minutes up the road. Ain't nothing close. Big Mama goes into town. Phone rings. Big Daddy picks up the phone. Big Daddy's whispering on the phone, but it sounds like it's a female on the other end of the line. Big Daddy hangs up the phone, goes to the bathroom. Next thing you know, he come out the bathroom looking good, smelling good. He leaves. Big Mama comes back from the store. Where's your daddy? I don't know. Big Daddy don't come back home till either later on that night or the next day. Next story happens. Big Daddy's homeboy pulls up in the middle of the night with a car full of females. Big Mama hears the females. The females in the car having a good time. I don't know if it's a Friday night or a Saturday night. I guess they getting ready to go to the juke joint or whatever. I don't remember if Big Mama was pregnant around this time or what, but Big Mama didn't say anything. And it's to my understanding that Big Mama knew not to open her mouth about anything. She just stayed quiet. Now, that's why she never said anything. I'm not quite sure why she never said anything. Could have very well been because she knew she didn't have nowhere else to go. Big Daddy got in the car with his homeboys, and the girls drove off, didn't come back home, to the next day. I then start asking my mama, I'm like, so it could very well be some other aunts and uncles out there that we don't know about. My mama said, well, you know about Aunt Jackie. We're going to call her Aunt Jackie. I said, I heard about Aunt Jackie, but I never met her. Aunt Jackie is the daughter that Big Daddy had with a woman before he married Big Mama. I said, why did Aunt Jackie never come around? Big Daddy didn't want to have nothing to do with Aunt Jackie. I said, so what happened to the woman? What happened to the mother of Aunt Jackie? Well, Big Daddy proposed to that woman before he married Big Mama. Woman said no. Sound like that woman had some sense. That woman said no. After that, Big Daddy meets Big Mama. They get married. They all around the age, I believe, 14, 15. They young. 14, 15. The lady says no. The lady keeps Aunt Jackie. Now, I remember, let's put a pause on that. I remember back on Big Daddy's 90th birthday, because I believe Big Daddy's like 92, Big Mama's still in her late 80s, I believe. I remember at Big Daddy's 90th birthday, they asked Big Daddy, my cousins and the family asked Big Daddy, how did you know Big Mama was the one? Big Daddy says, she was the only one that stayed. At the time, I didn't know what that meant, and I wasn't really reading too much into it. But now, looking at everything, you knew Big Mama was the one because she was the one that stayed? So now my mama is explaining what he meant. They're in the back roads of Mississippi. In Mississippi, small towns, a lot of people grow up and they move to bigger cities. So he could have meant she was the only one to stay that stayed. She was the only woman who did not move out to another city, and she was the one who stayed in Mississippi. Or he could have very well meant she was the only one who stayed through his book. That's what I'm gathering now. That was his answer as to how he knew Big Mama was the one. Now we direct this answer to Big Mama. The question to Big Mama, I think the question to Big Mama was, what's something that you love about Big Daddy or something like that? Big Mama's answer was, I can always count on him to be himself. He has always been himself. And my mama said, when Big Mama said that, Big Mama, my mama kind of looked. She said, well, what is that to say about a man you've been married to for 69 years? Big Mama, Big Daddy's been married for 69 years. That's all you have to say about your husband? Is that he's always been himself? What does that even mean? That said a lot. So, I'm thinking, if there are some other children, Big Mama probably does know about it. The kids and the grandkids probably don't. Let's go on back to the nursing home situation. So, Aunt Jean is now not speaking to Big Daddy because Big Daddy refuses to apologize. He refuses to see the error in his ways. And now Big Daddy is thinking that everybody is ganging up against him. He's in a nursing home that he doesn't even want to be in. And let's talk about that. Big Daddy has told his children, y'all have tricked me into coming to this nursing home. Y'all have disgraced me. Y'all might as well go ahead and send me to the upper room. He's pissed. But to understand why he feels like they tricked him into going into the nursing home, you first have to understand why they're in the nursing home in the first place. Apparently, Big Mama fell out in the garden, okay? So he could very well be doing all of this acting out to also spite Big Mama, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back that got both them put into the nursing home. But see, what he's failing to realize is, yeah, Big Mama fell out in the garden one time. And all it takes is one time. But prior to that, Big Daddy is the one who has been having all the health issues. Big Daddy is the one who's been having the spells at nighttime to where we got to rush him to the hospital, doctor's office in the middle of the night. Mind you, they're in the back roads of Mississippi. The doctor's office in the hospital is 50 minutes up the road. You got to go into town. So it's been plenty of times where Aunt Jean has had to rush from her house in a certain part of Mississippi down to Big Mama and Big Daddy's house, take them to the hospital multiple occasions. Big Daddy has went through cancer. He acting like he done lost his hearing, but I think he can hear pretty well. He's had surgery on his hearing, surgery on his eyesight, surgery on his foot. He's had a lot of things go on. It was when Big Mama was out there in her garden because, like I said, that they're in Mississippi. They got 140 acres of land. They're used to farming, okay? So they're used to getting up, farming, going outside. They're not, older people, they don't, it doesn't register that I can't do what I used to do anymore. She goes out in the garden. She done fell out in the garden. She's in the garden for about an hour or so. No one knows how long she was out there. Boom, Aunt Jean is now saying, we got to do something about this. Y'all need 24/7 care. My granddaddy feels like his children have tricked him into going to the nursing home. Y'all know my granddaddy, Big Mama, and Big Daddy, my grandparents, are in the nursing home. The straw that broke the camel's back that put them there was Big Mama fell out in the garden. Prior to that, Big Daddy has had all these health issues where my Aunt Jean has had to travel from her house down to Big Mama and Big Daddy's house on the back roads of Mississippi in the middle of the night to take them to the hospital and the doctor over the years, okay? Once Big Mama fell out in the garden, that was pretty much it. Aunt Jean said, y'all need 24/7 care. Not only that, Aunt Jean is up in age herself. She can't keep doing this. Aunt Jean has also had to put her husband, we're going to call him Uncle Bob, into the nursing home. So now that she's already got Uncle Bob into the nursing home, she's like, what would be best for me, for Aunt Jean, is if I could get Mama and Daddy, Big Mama and Big Daddy, in the same nursing home as Bob, so I can just have them there together when I go visit. I already know the process. We're already acquainted with the workers of the nursing home. Makes sense if you ask me. Now, getting into the nursing home is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. Insurance has to be taken care of, paperwork, doctor's appointments, etc. So until we can get Big Mama and Big Daddy into the nursing home, Aunt Jean asked the siblings, we all need to rotate every week. Somebody needs to come and sit with Mama and Daddy, Big Mama and Big Daddy, until we can get them into the nursing home. It's 7 of them. There's no reason why this cannot be done. Now, this is where the fighting or the miscommunication starts with the siblings before they even get into the nursing home. To understand why the siblings cannot get on the same page, you first have to understand the personality of each sibling. So we're going to go down the list, okay? The first uncle you have is Uncle Bart. And I've changed the names of my aunts and uncles of everybody in here so y'all don't know who I'm talking about. The oldest child is Uncle Bart. Uncle Bart is military minded, okay? Retired from the military and infantry. Y'all know military people are very blunt, straightforward, very, different in their way of thinking. But that's cool because Uncle Bart is backing Aunt Jean. He has Aunt Jean's back all the way. So we're good with Uncle Bart. Then you have Aunt Jean. Aunt Jean is a lawyer. Y'all been asking where she getting all this money from. Insurance helps a little bit of it. But Aunt Jean is a lawyer. She also married Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is a lawyer too. So that's where the bread comes from. Also, y'all know lawyers are very sharp in their way of thinking. They are strategists. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it this way, and this is why we're going to do it, and that's that. We look at the facts, and that's that. Aunt Jean has always been about business, owned her own law firm, etc. Went against the whole cab of the county, the whole town of DeKalb. Okay. Aunt Jean, up under Aunt Jean, you have Aunt Rose. We're going to call her Aunt Rose because she's always seen the world through rose-colored glasses. Aunt Rose was the it girl of the family. She married the professional football player and she lived that life. Still lives that life. Aunt Rose is not always in agreement with Aunt Jean. We'll get to that later. Up under Aunt Rose, you have Aunt Lynette. Aunt Lynette is the level-headed one. She was like, housewife, whatever. Very level-headed, she could go either way. She understands all sides, okay? Aunt Lynette, she's neutral. The Aunt Lynette, you have my mom. My mom is the rebel child, okay? She's the black sheep of the family. She's the fighter of the family, you know, and she was the one in the family that always got all of the whoopings. My mom will have her own story, okay? My mom is backing Aunt Jean all the way. She's ready to fight for Aunt Jean all the way, okay? Up under my mom, you have Aunt BB. BB is a little military minded too. I think she retired from the Pentagon or something like that. So she's military minded, just like Uncle Bart. But Aunt BB is heavily against Aunt Jean all the way. So they're not seeing eye to eye at all. Aunt BB is the one who felt like Aunt Jean was talking to Big Daddy reckless. She was going to go get her Big Daddy out of the nursing home. We'll get to that later. Up under Aunt BB, you have Uncle Jack Jack. That's the baby of the siblings. Uncle Jack Jack is also a lawyer, but here's the thing. Uncle Jack Jack is a lawyer and Aunt Jean is a lawyer. But Uncle Jack Jack couldn't see Aunt Jean on his best day in court. So I'm not understanding why Uncle Jack Jack is against Aunt Jean. Because you couldn't see Aunt Jean on your best day in court. Those are the siblings. Aunt Jean says, we need to get each and every one of you. Mind you, all of the siblings are scattered about. Uncle Bart is in Virginia, Washington area. Aunt Jean is the one who stayed in Mississippi. Aunt Rose is down in Florida living the it girl life. Aunt Lynette is in Alabama. My mom is another part of Alabama. Aunt BB is in Georgia. And Uncle Jack Jack is in Mississippi. Anyway. With this being said, Aunt Jean says there's no reason why the siblings should not be able to rotate every week. They start the rotation. Aunt Jean starts the rotation. She says, I'm going to do my week. Aunt Jean shouldn't have had to do a week because she's been doing all these years. She does her week. After that, I believe Aunt Lynette does her week. My mama goes down there, blase, blase, blase. One day, I'm getting called by my mama. What you doing? I ain't doing nothing. What you doing for the next couple of days? Why? You think you can go down there and sit with Big Mama and Big Daddy? Whose turn is it? Well, Rose supposed to go down there. Rose got some excuse talking about some she going out of town or something. Excuse me? You can't go down there and sit with your mama yet? Cool. By this time, I hadn't moved to Vegas yet, so I'm like, okay, I'm about to get ready to move to Vegas. This might be my last couple of times to see Big Mama and Big Daddy in person. I say, you know, I'll go down there. I go down there. By this time, Big Daddy's already pissed. Big Daddy's pissed because he has to call and ask his children for permission to do anything. Big Mama has to let her children know she's going out of the garden. Big Mama and Big Daddy's just like, why am I having to ask you for permission to do anything? Like, what's going on? You feel me? Big Daddy's pissed. I go down there. I tell Big Daddy, Big Mama straight up, look, I'm not here to babysit you. Everybody grown here. I'm going to be downstairs in the den. I'm going to check on you every hour. As long as I put my eyes on you wherever you're at, you're good with me. If I can't put my eyes on you and I can't find you, we're going to have a conversation. I didn't have no problems out of it. Whole time, I'm down there 3-4 days. My mom was supposed to come and relieve me. My mom comes. Big Daddy says, she the best one. She the best one. I don't understand why y'all can't just come up here and leave us alone. I don't even know why y'all got to be up here. I get it. I get it. So, I think before me, my other cousin had to come down there and relieve somebody. My other cousin said, it's sad that y'all have 7 children and the grandkids have to come in and do your job. What's going on here? Anyway, Aunt Jean has now got some things in orders for the nursing home. So she is now reeling Big Mama and Big Daddy in. So she goes, picks up Big Mama and Big Daddy, say, hey, we're going to go down here. We're going to see, you know, Bob, which is her husband who's in the nursing home. We're going to go down here and see Bob for a minute. She goes down there. She's playing like she's visiting Bob. She's talking, you know, Big Mama and Big Daddy's getting acquainted with the workers or whatever. That's how she reels them in. Now, Big Mama's having the time of her life because she knows some of the people that's working at the facility. They're playing bingo. Big Mama's having a good time. Big Daddy's ready to go home. Thank you. Time goes by. Aunt Jean pitches the idea of them going to the nursing home because they have all of this care. You know, you've seen what the nursing home workers can do. You see Bob is in there having a good time. This is good. This is good. Big Daddy's not going for it. They end up telling Big Daddy, the siblings end up telling Big Daddy, if you don't like it, you can go home whenever you want to. Now, you know that ain't not how that work. You know that ain't how that work. When I went down there to visit them in the nursing home after they were put in the nursing home, I couldn't even get. It was a doctor sitting in an office by the door. He said, you have to ask the person on duty to let you out. They got it locked down in there. So this is why Big Daddy feels like he was lied to and tricked. I come in here for a couple of days. I want to go back to my house. I want to go back to my land that I worked for. You talking about I can go back home when I want to. And when I ask you to drive me back past the house, it's all type of excuses. That is why he feels like he was tricked into going to the nursing home. Which is another reason why I believe he's in there wreaking havoc, because he does not want to be there.
Baby, granddaddy in there setting it off. And honestly and truthfully, I agree with granddaddy when he said he was tricked into going to that nursing home. Because if you told him he could leave when he ready to leave, or if he get ready to leave, and now he can't go to his house, he can't visit, he can't do none of that, I would feel tricked also. He can't leave. That's not how the system works. But I can honestly feel Aunt Jean. I'm agreeing with Aunt Jean, and I'm agreeing with, her wanting to do things her way. She paying for it. She responsible for all of that. The other siblings not being able to contribute, talking about they go out of town, that is crazy. But for the granddaddy to be 80 years old and still set in his ways, maybe he do have declining health. Like she was saying earlier, they had him evaluated to have him sedated and stuff like that. But I just feel like if a man ain't changed and he ain't changed just to be with you, then he's not gonna change at all. Being together for 69 years and he still ain't changed, baby, he's not going to. But granddaddy seemed like he's setting it off for everybody. He do not care. He is setting it off and wreaking a havoc around. But that's the end of this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all next video. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.